Hey, folks, welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It is Thursday, April 3rd, back in the Berg after a few days in Florida. Didn't get as tan as I hoped to, but, you take the good with the bad. A great week in terms of gathering content for SteelersNow.com and for you guys here on the YouTube channel. I'll have lots more coming out in that regard over the rest of this week and next week. Got a question here that I want to talk about the draft from Devin on the YouTube platform. Devin says, hey guys, keep on being great and safe travels, Alan. Do NFL teams do mock drafts to prepare for unlikely circumstances? Or is it pretty much known ahead of time what teams are expected to do by other GMs? I will say this. I think, everybody has a mock draft, and the public mock drafts, a good one in the first round might get 7 or 8 picks right. So maybe 25%. I don't know. I've never been in an NFL draft room, but from what I've been told, and I don't really have any reason to disbelieve it, NFL teams are doing about twice as good as that, where they're able to pretty accurately predict about what half the teams are going to do. What they do is they don't have a mock draft like me or Mel Kiper, though. They kind of build scenarios, right? Okay, so and those scenarios, you can't account for every scenario. The Steelers are picking 21st. There are, an unmanageable number of permutations of possible draft picks taken ahead of them. What they can do is deal with the most reasonable, okay? And then you can kind of eliminate a lot of those possibilities by making like sort of broad assumptions, right? Like Cam Ward is not going to get past 3. Abdul Carter is not going to get past 5. And so then you can really cut down you're not just plugging 20 factorial into a calculator. You can really get to, okay, what are the scenarios that are realistic? And then you start to talk about trades with other general managers from your position, but you're learning about what other general managers think about their position. So you start to try to figure out which trades you think are likely. If a team is calling you about trading up to 20, you better believe they're probably also calling teams ahead of you to try to get ahead of you. If a team that you call about trading up to says, no how, no way, then maybe that team is actually looking to go the other direction. Maybe they want to move up. And so they have a lot of good information. They build, like I said, like it's more like a flow chart than a mock draft, right? Are the Titans going to take Cam Ward? Well, we think that's pretty likely, maybe 75%. So, okay, everything 75% of the scenarios will flow from there. What's the 25 look like? Well, if the 25 looks like all of the time that Cleveland takes him at number 2, and and the Titans take Abdul Carter instead, then it doesn't matter. Those are actually the same scenarios for everything that flows after 2, because to the Steelers, all that matters is 20 and really like places they might want to trade to. So they build these scenarios out and then try to see what they think is most likely to happen. They probably have not even started this process yet. They're still in the process of gathering information. I think they are mostly done with pro days, but they still have 30 visits coming in today. I'm expecting a big crop. Tomorrow, again, another big crop. And then the next week should be a big week for those visits. Once they're kind of done gathering information is when they'll start to not only build their board, but look into what they think other teams are going to do to see who is going to be available to them. And also, if they want players on the board, where they think they need to get to take them. If the number one player on your board is not on anybody else's board, then you shouldn't take them because you should trade down. And so you kind of have to have a good idea of what teams are thinking, what they want to do. And I think that's one of the things that Omar Khan has been really good at as Steelers general manager. He has great relationships with agents from being the Steelers' longtime contract negotiator. And I think their front office, the way they approached it by bringing Andy Weidel in, bringing Mark Sadowski in, bringing Sheldon White in. They have a lot of good football people that came from other places, so they know how those other places are going to work. I think that the Steelers got very insular because they won and nobody left, but there was never any lifeblood coming in telling us what the rest of the world is doing. And I think they have that now. I think Omar's relationships really help. And I think they do a really good job of understanding what the rest of the league is going to do. I think when you look at their draft classes, that's been one of the obvious things that stood out over the last 2 years. Short episode today. Got to get down to the south side because I am in charge of collecting the pre-draft visitors today. So I will be back with more with Smitty at 6 o'clock here on the afternoon drive. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications here on the YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode. And until then, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and enjoy.